Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Another week, another cup of tea. It is 20 weeks of this, 20 episodes of this, of you guys just listening to me talk. So for those who do listen and stick around for the whole video, and wait for it to come out every week, thank you. Makes me feel like I'm not wasting my time. But, as always, I'm not doing this for the likes. I'm not doing this for the views. I'm just doing it for those who relate and want to listen. Anyway, so let's get into it. This week we are talking about how distancing yourself from people, whether it be family or friends, or other people, distancing yourself is sometimes the right thing to do. It's the healthy thing to do, for yourself. And you might think, haven't I talked about this before? I've talked about it here and there in some podcasts when it's relevant, when it relates to the topic I'm talking on, but I've never spent a full podcast talking on it. And it is something that is very relevant in my life, and I'm sure it's very relevant in some of your guys' lives. And, maybe people have a different opinion about it. Maybe people feel like distancing yourself isn't the right thing to do. Maybe people feel like it's unhealthy. Well, let's talk about it. Look, throughout my life, I have distanced myself from many people, willingly distanced myself from many people. And the biggest part about it is, I would agree, yes, don't distance yourself if it's somebody you want to have a relationship with in the future. I feel like distancing yourself isn't the right route to take. If you want to have a relationship with somebody, instead of distancing yourself, talk to them, talk it out, figure things out. But that's never been the case for me when I distance myself. When I distance myself, I have the mindset of, I can continue to live the rest of my life without having this person in it. And it's true, whether it's been family members or people I thought were friends, whoever it may be, I have that mentality. I think it through before doing it. Look, I'll start it off with this. For anybody, if anybody's watching that I've ever distanced myself from, again, whether it be family or friends or other, I don't even know. But, if you're somebody I've distanced myself from and you think we have a better relationship now, great. I'm happy you feel that way. But keep that in mind that everybody I've distanced myself from, I've never come back to and tried to build a relationship. Those people have always come back to me. And that's not me being like cocky or whatever. Like, it's true. Like, I could continue the rest of my life without that person or those people, but they chose to come back to me and have a relationship with me. So that's on them. If it makes them happy, great. I could have gone without it. But it is what it is. One thing I can say is that, like, and this might be harsh, people might not agree with this, but I have absolute zero love for anybody I've ever distanced myself from. And that's not saying I hate them. I don't hate anybody. Hate's a strong word, but, I for real, like, I could have gone the rest of my life without talking to those people or seeing those people again. So I have absolutely zero love for anybody I've ever distanced myself from, whether they've come back or I haven't seen. So why distance yourself? A big reason I've distanced myself in the past and present is, a lot of things. It could go from abuse, people putting their hands on me. Physical abuse or, mental abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse. That's always been a big one. You're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to abuse me. You're not going to treat me like shit. And another reason I've distanced myself from people is, ignorance and racism. And, this has nothing to do with politics, or religion. I don't care what your political beliefs are. I don't care what your religious beliefs are, but I can have their different beliefs, different opinions. But that's no excuse for treating people poorly or, treating somebody poorly because they're gay or treating somebody poorly because they aren't white or they aren't Christian or aren't Jewish, whatever it is. If somebody's not what you want them to be, that's no reason to treat them like shit. So I've distanced myself from people who I've seen, be just completely ignorant towards people that aren't their type of person. And again, that's not one of those things where I'm going to sit down and talk with them and try to work it out, because you can't change people like that, man. That's how they are, and it's just not worth it. Yeah, man, I don't put up with that shit. And recently, man, I distanced myself, and unfortunately, people think I'm the bad guy for distancing myself from people, but, they never look into why I'm distancing myself, or when they find out why I'm distancing myself, I'm still somehow the bad guy. Fuck if I've been abused physically or verbally, or fuck if I've been disrespected to or lied to, or, that disrespect was pushed on to my fiance and my stepson. Fuck if that happens, just keep it quiet. But then if I distance myself and talk about it, I'm even worse of a person for talking about it. I mean, it's fucking crazy, man. I mean, look, I'm not here to get specific, as always. If you know, you know. If you don't, you can always DM me, but I'm not here to put anybody on blast. I'm just calling it how it is. Look, I've been abused for a very long time, as a kid, as a teenager, you physically, and then as I've gotten older, the physical abuse stopped and the verbal abuse and emotional abuse continued. And we talked about this in the Suicide Awareness podcast. And look, I've grown. I've learned to speak out when something is not right. I've learned to defend myself when something is not right. I mean, it's how it is. And look, I know a lot of people see me as being the bad guy for speaking out. I don't care. It's not right how I've been treated. It's not right how others have been treated. So, moral of the story is, if you're being treated like shit, if you're not being treated the way you're supposed to be treated, distancing yourself is the right thing to do. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a family member. I don't care if it's a friend. If you notice you have a bad friend, somebody who always bails on you, somebody who, might be sweet and kind to you to your face, and then they're talking shit about you behind your back, it's not worth it. No friend, no family member, nobody's worth that. Nobody's worth that. And if you guys have family members who choose either a partner or friends over you, whether you're their kid, grandkid, niece, nephew, whatever your family member is. I mean, everybody's always like, oh, family's everything. No, it's not, man. Not if you're treated like shit. And all my life I've always heard, my voice cracked. I'm a 26-year-old man and my voice just cracked. Throughout my life I've always heard, everybody's treated equally, everybody's treated the same. That's just simply not true. I think a lot of people know that. A lot of people that know me and know my surroundings know that that's not true. And I'm not stupid. Maybe when I was younger I believed that. It's not true. Not everybody's treated equally. Yeah, that's just a stupid saying. And, another thing that's been recently brought to my attention is that, yes, I've distanced myself from people that people don't want me to distance myself from. But like I've said, it's taken years of abuse and manipulation and lies and disrespect for me to come to that point of saying, hey, I don't deserve this. I've tried so many times to show that I don't deserve this, and it's still happening. I'm going to distance myself. And of course I'm the bad guy for doing that, but it is what it is. But I've heard the bullshit excuses of, oh, well, maybe people just treat you that way because they were treated that way when they were younger. And it's like, that's no fucking excuse. Because, if an older generation treats a younger generation like shit, so does that mean that that younger generation is going to treat the next generation like shit? But it's going to be okay because that middle generation was treated like shit from before. It's confusing. I know what I'm saying. I hope you know what I'm saying too. I just think that was such a bullshit thing. And it's crazy. Something I've heard from almost everybody recently when they've heard that I distance myself from certain people is, oh, well, that's just, how that person is. You can't change them. Well, one, I mean, then something needs to be done. Because if everybody has an issue with the same person, you can't just make the excuse that, oh, well, that's just the way they are. Everybody has a problem with them. It is what it is. It's not okay, man. That's what therapy is for. That's what doctors are for. That's what fucking psych wards are for, man. I don't know, bro. It's crazy, man. So at the beginning, I talked about how people might have different opinions of this. And like, look, I get it. I know comeback, I guess, response. There we go, response. A big response to this topic is, well, life's too short to distance life's too short to distance yourself from people. Life's too short to not talk to people. Life's too short to this, that, whatever. Yes, that's true. Life is too short. But life is also too short to take disrespect from people, to be abused by people, to be lied to by people. It goes both ways. So, I'd rather distance myself than, and, be healthy, be happy, be good, rather than not distance myself, continue to be abused, continue to be lied to, continue to be manipulated, disrespected, have that spread onto my family, just to have a fake relationship so other people can think everything's okay, because it's not. But look, the beauty of all this, the beauty of being treated like shit for a very long part of your life, is that you see what the do's and don'ts are for the future. You know, if it's a parent, if you've had a deadbeat parent, you see what the do's and don'ts are of being a parent, you know, whether it's for a stepchild or a child of your own, you know what to do to be there for them, to take care of them, to love them, to know that they matter to you. And if it's with a friend, I mean, if you've had a shitty friend that, like, you know, never hits you up first, it always bails on your plans, never wants to hang out, you know, they're talking shit about you behind their back, that makes you open your eyes and realize what you should do to be a better friend to the people you want to be friends with. I mean, let me say this. Like I said, I've distanced myself from many people in my life. Some of them are currently in my life now, and some of them aren't. The ones that are chose to come back themselves. But I could have gone the rest of my life without them. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry for being blunt. But with all of that, with all the people I've had issues with and distanced myself with, I've seen how shitty people are. So let me say this. I'm sure most people who watch this can agree, and most people who know me can agree. I know no matter how poorly I've been treated, no matter how poorly I've been talked about and how poorly I've been talked to, I can say this for a fact, is that I know that I'm not the failure people think I am just because I didn't finish school. I know I'm not the failure people think I am because of my tattoos or because I don't follow a certain religion or a certain political stance. I know I'm not a failure as a stepfather. I know I'm not a failure as a soon-to-be husband. I know I won't be a failure as a father of a child that will be biologically mine. I know I'm not a failure as a friend. I think I'm shaking the table, so if my camera's shaking, I'm so sorry. But moral of the story is, you know, with all the shit I've gone through and with all the people I've had to deal with and escape from, I know, based off what I've seen and based off what I know is a piece of shit, a deadbeat, a poor friend, a poor family member, based off what I know makes somebody that, I know what I am and who I am, and that I will never be anything like those people. Yeah, I think that's it, man. I think that's it. So, again, look, you can agree with what I say, you can disagree with what I say. It is what it is. You know, I'm just here for the people that, can relate to being the black sheep. It's all part of it, baby. So I think that's everything I wanted to get out. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Next week, so our wedding's coming up in 2 months. 2 months from today, actually. I'm recording this on August 8th. It's gonna come out on the 10th, I believe, or 11th. But 2 months from the day I'm recording this podcast will be our wedding. So let's talk about, I know I've talked about like wedding and expenses, but that was like one of the earlier podcasts. That was very early on in our planning. And you know, now we're 2 months away and you know, shit's going down. So, next week we're going to talk about like behind the scenes of not only our wedding, planning process, but I think it's probably common for everybody who's planning a wedding, getting ready to get married. So until then, stay beautiful, don't be a dick, don't judge people, and peace out, Girl Scouts.